And the last thing, the most important piece, is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
I've told you before, I'm a fan. This is our second meeting. You are nice, all right? You are nice with yours, all right?
I just want to shout out to Swift at Swift Sports Network.
What's up, Swift? This is Kyler Gordon. Just want to do a quick shout out to Swift Sports Network with all the latest news on the Bears.
You ain't speaking facts, we don't want to hear it. Yeah, we going for the dub. You are now watching Swift Sports.
The Bears.
Welcome to the 2025 Chicago Bears fan bracket, where you get to decide who the Bears should pick in round one this year. I'm here as a resource, and we'll talk about each player while they're being voted for, but the votes are strictly in your hands. Which player do you want the Bears to pick? Now is the time to make your decision. These are the rankings heading into the bracket, 12-team bracket. We're going to do about 3 minutes per vote. We're obviously getting a little bit of extra time for this very first vote. It's one of the closest matchups in the entire bracket as well. Josh Simmons, the left tackle from Ohio State, and Mykel Williams, the defensive end from Georgia. Since we're already in the bracket, I'm going to go ahead and talk about each guy for a second. And I'll put 2 minutes on the clock for this very first round one, because we've already got some extra votes. A lot of people have already voted on this one. So I'm only going to do 2 minutes for this one. After that, I'll do 3 minutes per vote, starting the 2 minutes right now. All right, first I'll talk about Mykel Williams. This is a good pass rusher. He has Pro Bowl upside. He's a better run defender than he is a pass rusher at this point of his career. His 11.7 career pressure rate is not that great, but he grades out awesome against the run, 86.6. He has 85 career pressures, 14 career sacks. He played through an ankle injury this year, but he did get the best of Kelvin Banks Jr. when they matched up. On the other side, we have Josh Simmons, a guy who has all the tools to be an elite left tackle. He has the power, he has the athleticism, he has the agility, great technique, explosiveness, use of his hands. He can mirror speed rushers. His problem is he tore his patellar tendon and missed most of the end of the year. Would the Bears really want to pick another injured left tackle? This vote is close, guys. It's 50-50 right now. He did come back at the Pro Day for the Ohio State Pro Day. He did a brief workout. He was moving around looking okay, but not 100% as of yet. Now we'll take you to let's go ahead and look at the bracket here. This is first round. 30 seconds left on this first vote, guys. 30 seconds left. We have Mykel Williams and Josh Simmons. It's close. It's 50-50. It keeps going back and forth. I keep seeing it pop back and forth here. This one's about over, and then we'll go on to the next vote after this. But right now, it's Josh Simmons and Mykel Williams. 10 seconds. Final 10 seconds. Mykel Williams with a small lead. I'm ending it. Boom. All right, that's vote one. Mykel Williams defeats Josh Simmons in round one. All right, now the next vote here, this is going to be, I'll put this one up next now. All right, this is the next bracket matchup here. Round one, you have left tackle Will Campbell going against another left tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr. We're putting this poll up. We're going to have 3 full minutes here. I'll give it a second for everyone to get it going, but we're going to have at least 3 full minutes for this one here. Round one matchup, Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks Jr. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about each one starting now. All right, starting the clock as well. 3 minutes on the clock, guys. Let's start it. Hold on. My phone went to sleep on me. All right, starting the clock now. First up, this is Will Campbell. He's a stud prospect. Awesome left tackle prospect. He was Jaden Daniels' left tackle for LSU's national championship run. His problem right now, he has elite athleticism, incredible footwork, incredible mirror ability, not marrow. He has advanced technique, advanced hand usage. He has strong anchor. He consistently gets push off the line of scrimmage. His issue is solely with length. There are only 2 left tackles in the NFL with sub 33-inch arms, and there isn't a single tackle in the NFL with a wingspan as short as Will Campbell's 77-inch wingspan. So a lot of people are projecting Will Campbell to guard in the NFL. I will say most of the tape, yeah, he looks like a tackle. He did struggle a little bit with length, so you have to wonder if that'll project in the NFL when you get those longer edge rushers. When you get those guys with 37-inch arms, it's going to be tough to stop them. But I love Will Campbell's tape. He's a great player. Next up, Kelvin Banks Jr., another guy who was supposed to be projected to guard in the NFL, but he ended up measuring at the combine with 33.5-inch arms and measuring in at 6'5". His biggest issue is he struggled a bit on tape in 2024. He didn't quite live up to the hype that people put on him heading into this year. I like Kelvin Banks Jr. a lot. He has all the traits to play left tackle in the NFL. Some people say he has Pro Bowl upside at guard, though. This year's tackle class is just full of guys with shorter arms. It's just kind of the theme this year. None of these guys have 35 or 36-inch arms like Karan Amagaji has. But they're both good players. Less than a minute left on this one, guys. Less than a minute left. It does look like Will Campbell is running away with this one. Will Campbell in the lead right now. Round 1. This is the second vote, guys. 40 seconds left on this one. Will Campbell versus Kelvin Banks Jr. True, you could trade down and get Banks. That's a good point as well. Indy has both of them. Indy has both tackles. Their left tackle and their right tackle have under 33-inch arms. They're like the one team in the NFL that doesn't really care about arm length, or so it seems. 10 seconds. This one's ending. Actually, I'm going to call this one. Will Campbell with 75%. We're calling it. Will Campbell's moving on to round 2. Will Campbell to round 2. Now we're going to the right side of the bracket. This first matchup here, the first guy is one of the guys that a lot of people don't know a lot about. This is Jalen Walker. He's basically an edge rusher linebacker from Georgia. His best trait, though, is getting after the quarterback. He reminds a lot of people of a Micah Parsons type. And then we have a running back on the board here, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. That's going to be this matchup here. Omarion Hampton, unfortunately, is one of the few guys I do not have a graphic for him, but I will talk about Omarion Hampton for a little bit. But let me go ahead and talk about Jalen Walker first, since I do have a graphic for him. All right, this is Jalen Walker. He's the potential cornerstone of a defense. He's a Pro Bowl linebacker with pass rush skills. He had a 3-sack performance against Kelvin Banks Jr. in Texas, 63 career pressures, 6.5 career sacks. He did not play edge rusher full time. He kind of played that Micah Parsons role on the Georgia defense. He moved all around. He was an off-ball linebacker, but at times he would move up and get on the edge and go after the quarterback. And that's probably his best trait. Rushing the passer, getting after quarterbacks. He's really good at it, and in the right system, he's going to be a guy who's a game changer. Now, his issue is he's just under 6'2", 245, 32-inch arms. He's small. He'd be one of the smaller edge rushers in the NFL. Another size thing. But then let's go ahead and talk about Omarion Hampton as well. About 2 minutes left. Little over 2 minutes left on this vote, guys. I don't know how the vote's going. I don't see it right now. But Omarion Hampton's a guy, awesome running back. He has the speed. He has the shiftiness. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He has the power. He probably doesn't have that elite home run speed, but he's still really fast. He also has really good contact balance, good vision, good burst. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can block. Most people have him as the second running back in this class behind Ashton Jeanty. I have him as, when I did my running back rankings, I just prefer Quinshawn Judkins over him slightly. I'm not trying to knock Omarion Hampton. I really like him as a player, but I think if you're choosing between taking Omarion Hampton in round 1 and Judkins in round 2, I go with Judkins. But that's not where I'm trying to go right now. 4.4740, good call there, Oscar. This is a really good player. Some people have him as their RB1. So depending on who you're asking here, some people actually like him over Ashton Jeanty. Let's check where the votes are at. Oh, this one's close. 55% Omarion Hampton, 45% Jalen Walker. I will say, Jalen's a guy, he's underrated, right? I haven't heard too many people talk about him, but I actually have a video coming out on Jalen. I think he's a guy who, I says it right here at the top of my scouting report. He's a potential cornerstone of a defense, a guy who you can build around, a guy who can get after quarterbacks. I think his best trait is actually how he can spy quarterbacks. Where you have him on the line, he's not just rushing the quarterback, right? He's kind of spying the quarterback. And with how many quarterbacks nowadays run around the pocket and scramble around, not just to rush and scramble, but also just run around the pocket to throw. Think about Jaden Daniels in that Hail Mary last year. This is the kind of guy who excels at stopping that. In college, yes, he was a linebacker, but in the NFL, like a lot of these guys, his best trait is getting after the quarterback. This one's close, guys. The buzzer's going off. My buzzer's going off. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds on this one. It's 51-49 right now. 10 seconds on this one. Jalen Walker, Omarion Hampton, get your votes in. We're going to end this 5. I'm ending it. Omarion Hampton with the upset victory, moving on to round 2. Omarion Hampton. I love it. I love it. And now the next vote. This is 2 guys that I think chat's going to really like both these guys. This one might end up being closer than I think. For the first guy we have here, it's going to be Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. And the second guy is safety Nick Emmanwori out of South Carolina. Poll up now. We got just over 3 minutes to vote for this one, guys. We'll go ahead. Unfortunately, I don't think I have. I thought I had a Nick Emmanwori graphic. I don't. I have one on my Swift Scouting Network. Nick Emmanwori, one of the better safety prospects in this class, right? He's a freak athlete. Absolutely destroyed the combine with a 10.0 RAS score. Now, when I think about Nick Emmanwori, he's a guy who I think will be better playing close to the line of scrimmage, not as a center field, deep free safety type guy. But he showed he has that speed, and he does kind of flash some similarities to a Kyle Hamilton. And if he can be that chess piece in a secondary, he's a guy who's going to severely outperform his draft status. I do not think we'll take Nick Emmanwori at pick 10. I think he's going to go a lot lower than that. But he's a guy who's going to be a surprise pick and a stud, and he's a fan favorite. I have people asking about this guy every day, so I wanted to include him on the list as a sleeper. Now, let's talk about the beast. Kenneth Grant, an athletic freak, 330 pounds, ran a 5.11 40, 7 sacks in college. He was a freshman All-American. This is a guy who, he's kind of like a supercharged Andrew Billings. He's a guy who can stuff the run immediately. He would immediately impact our run defense and make our run defense better. But then he also has that profile to get after quarterbacks as well. So that's something to just keep an eye on here as well. All right, let's see. Oh, man, this one's a runaway. Kenneth Grant, 81%. I love you, Nick Emmanwori, but not today, buddy. Kenneth Grant, it's the trenches. We might call this one early. Minute and a half left, but Kenneth Grant is over 80%. It's a blowout. This one's a blowout, guys. This one is a blowout. Yeah, I really love Kenneth Grant. He's a personal favorite of mine in this draft. I had him on my guys list that I made a couple days ago. One of my favorites in the draft for sure. We'll give it another minute. We'll just see. I'll go ahead and update my bracket anyway of the players moving on to round 2 here. We're going to have Emmanwori Hampton taking on Ashton Jeanty. It looks like we're going to have Kenneth Grant taking on Tyler Warren. That's going to be a good battle. And then we're going to have Will Campbell taking on James Pierce Jr. and Michael Williams taking on Mason Graham. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle. That's a battle of the trenches over there. About 30 seconds left on this one, guys. I'm updating my bracket. Updating my bracket here so we can have the second round ready to go. Where's Will Campbell at? What's the looking like? 82%. Yeah, we're ending this. We're going to start up. I'll go ahead and start the vote for round 2 here. I do not think someone said Mason Graham won't be there. Look, there's a chance Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, or Ashton Jeanty will all be gone. That's 100%. But those are the 3 players I do believe all have a chance to fall. Defensive tackles rarely go in the top 10. If you look over this is something I've been researching recently, and defensive tackles just don't go in the top 10 a lot. When you look back, Aaron Donald should have went in the top 10. Jalen Walker should have been a top 5, or Jalen Carter should have been a top 5 pick, and he ended up going 9th. So I mean, a lot of times this just happens. Mike Green just missed making my list. I was gonna throw him in, but I wanted to put Nick Emmanwori on there because people just love Nick Emmanwori, so I wanted to put him on there. This is round 2 about to kick off now. First vote here, guys, is going to be defensive tackle Mason Graham from Michigan taking on defensive end Michael Williams. Yeah, I had that same question there, J2K. What's Brett Coleman's full rankings there? Like, who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, give me all 5 if you can. Appreciate it, brother. All right, this round, I'm going to start the poll here. Mason Graham versus Michael Williams. This is a trench battle, guys. Timer started. 3 minutes on the clock. Mason Graham is an absolute stud. If you don't believe he's going to be there, then take Michael Williams. I think that's an easy way to put this as well. Let me talk briefly about each guy. I haven't talked about Mason Graham, but this is a guy, an immediate impact player. He was a freshman All-American, 2-time regular All-American, Outland Trophy finalist. He has that wrestling background, and it really shows up on film with how he understands leverage, his use of his hands, his grip strength. That all shows up. I love guys in the trenches, especially in the interior. I love former wrestlers or guys with wrestler backgrounds. It just seems to translate pretty well. This guy's he projects as a legit cornerstone of a defense. He's a team leader. He has insane traits. He's a physical specimen. He has unheard of agility for a 300-pound lineman. One of the true blue chip prospects in this draft. No chance Graham falls to the second round. No. Oh, okay. I see J2K. Appreciate you, brother. And then Michael Williams, guys, was projected as potentially the number 1 overall pick this year before he hurt his ankle. That ankle injury held him back some and definitely hurt his pass rush win percentage. But he's a very talented edge rusher. I believe he goes top 15. This guy has a ton of talent. Don't overlook him. But this looks like a runaway right here. It's a runaway. Mason Graham, 85%. There's a minute left. Minute left in the vote. I'll give it a little bit, but I'm not going to let this one play out too long. Updating my bracket. I'll put the new bracket up in just a second here, guys. As Mason Graham is moving on to the Final Four. This is fun, guys. This is kind of fun. Mason Graham going to the Final Four. Updated. 45 seconds here. I'm going to end this one early. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and start the second vote here, because this one's done. Mason Graham with a runaway victory. We're going back to the trenches again here, guys. Round 2, left side of the bracket. We have James Pierce Jr., the defensive end from Tennessee. Hey, what's up? Anyone who's late, we are voting on the Bears pick. We're in round 2 of this. I'm updating the bracket right now. I'll have an updated bracket graphic out in just a second. But we're voting on each round. We're into round 2. 3 minutes per vote here. We're into round 2, the second vote. Mason Graham just beat Michael Williams at the top of the bracket. Now this vote here is gonna be James Pierce Jr., defensive end, against Will Campbell, the left tackle / guard. I'm starting that poll. 3 minutes on the clock, and I'm updating my my graphic right now. Let's see if I can put an updated one on here. Nope, not that. All right, 3 minutes on this one, guys. This is James Pierce Jr., the pass rusher from Tennessee, second best pass rush win rate in the entire draft. Second best in the entire draft. All right, there's the updated bracket. I've updated the bracket up top. You can see Will Campbell moved on to round 2. Michael Williams moved on to round 2. Mason Graham up top is going to the Final Four. And right now we're at that bottom left one, the one like right above my head here. Will Campbell taking on James Pierce Jr. That is the current vote. I am going to talk briefly about James Pierce Jr. here because he's coming in. This is his first matchup. I haven't talked about him yet. This is an athletic freak pass rusher. Second best pass rush win rate in the entire nation, behind only Abdul Carter. 22.2% career pressure rate. Now, his run grade is not elite, 76.8 against the run, but he has the length. If he can add some bulk, I think he can be a good run defender in the NFL. But you could also start him as a situational pass rusher. His career pass rush grade is 92.6, 19.5 career sacks, 113 pressures. A lot of people are talking about his character right now. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. I love James Pierce Jr. Just personally, I really like this guy. He's a great player. And then let's go ahead and talk about Will Campbell as well. Easily one of the best offensive line prospects in the class. If he had an 1.5 inch longer arms, he would probably be in contention. He'd be a top 5 pick guaranteed. Guaranteed. He can still be a top 5 pick. I don't think it's out of the realm of questioning here, depending on how the top 3 picks go, that Will Campbell could go 4th overall to the Patriots. What about my photo on the bracket list of Kelvin Banks Jr.? Let me see. Yeah, Kelvin Banks. In the first round, it was Kelvin Banks, but he lost. He lost to Will Campbell. My photo is, hold on, I'll show you. Right here, it's right above my head. See Will Campbell? That's Will Campbell and James Pierce Jr. Kelvin Banks Jr. was in the first round. He lost that. So we got about 20 seconds left here, guys. This one's about over. Ooh, it's close, too. It looks like Will Campbell's winning. The chat prefers Will Campbell over James Pierce Jr. That honestly doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I figured Will Campbell was going to go far. Actually thought he might even make the finals in this. So we'll see how he goes. That's going to set up a matchup against Will Campbell and Mason Graham next round. But we got to go to the right side of the bracket first. I'm going to set up this first vote. This one should be fun. Will Campbell is moving on 60%. I got to say, personally, I would have chose James Pierce Jr. there. But this is why this is a chat vote, guys. Will Campbell moving on. I love to see it. All right, here we go. Going to the right side of the bracket now. This is round 2 still. This is going to be the running back battle here. Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. We know who he is. And then Marion Hampton, North Carolina. This is going to be fun. Hey, it's a running back vote here. One of these running backs, the way you guys voted it, we have a running back going to the Final Four no matter what. So that's how you guys voted it. You can't put that on me. All right, starting it up. Wait a minute. 3 minutes on this one, guys. 3 minutes on the clock. Ashton Jeanty, O'Marion Hampton. Who's the running back you want? You got to take a running back. Sorry. There's no non-running back vote on this one. Yeah, I think this one, I might end this one early. I think this one might be a runaway. This is the first Jeanty vote, too. We'll see. I'll give it at least 1 full minute. I don't want to call it too early. There's always comebacks, okay? There's always comebacks, but if he's sticking over the 80% when we're a minute in, I'll probably call it. We're 75 right here. Now, and that's another thing you can consider here. It's not like you have to take O'Marion Hampton over Ashton Jeanty. You could say, look, I'd rather trade back and get O'Marion Hampton than take Jeanty at 10. So, I mean, that's another consideration here. At 10, you have to know that guy can start. See, someone in the chat said it. They trade back for Hampton. I understand that. I've seen people. I've seen that. Yeah, I think we're going to call this one. Looks like it's even moving up. It's moving up. It's Ashton Jeanty, baby. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, I didn't move Kenneth Grant. I didn't move Kenneth Grant over in my graphic. Hold on. Let me move Kenneth Grant over. We'll give it another like 20 seconds here since I forgot to put Kenneth Grant over in my bracket. But this is going to be the next battle here is going to be Tyler Warren taking on Kenneth Grant. This is probably one of the biggest battles in this whole bracket, especially for round 2. This is a huge battle because Kenneth Grant is a sleeper, a favorite. He's a trench guy, but Tyler Warren is a weapon, and he's someone that's very popular right now after Ben Johnson just talked about him. So here we go, guys. I'm going to start this one up. Give me a second. Final match of round 2 here. This is the final round 2 battle. It's tight end Tyler Warren from Penn State against defensive tackle Kenneth Grant from Michigan. Poll is up now. Let me see if let me start my timer. 3 minutes on the clock. 3 minutes on the clock here. Yeah. Hey, Jaquan Brisker wants Tyler Warren. That's true. Jaquan Brisker does want Tyler Warren. Don't just type it in, guys. Make sure you vote in the chat. There's a vote in there. If you just type it in, I don't think that counts as a vote. You got to actually click it. This is to determine the last guy going into the Final Four here, guys. This will be the last guy going into the Final Four. I'll go ahead and update my bracket here as well. Because I left your boy Kenneth Grant out. You see, this is the battle on the bottom right for the last spot in the Final Four here. Kenneth Grant, Tyler Warren. This is a battle, guys. I might even extend this one. If you guys have any questions about these players, ask. But this is a battle. Tyler Warren, he's not just a tight end. Let me tell you what Tyler Warren is. He's a wildcat quarterback. He's a fullback. He's a second tight end. He's a big slot receiver. He's a weapon on offense. But Kenneth Grant is a younger, more athletic Andrew Billings who can get after the quarterback. Kenneth Grant is a guy. We also heard Ben Johnson pretty much hyped up both these guys, right? Because he talked about how Tyler Warren can be a weapon on this offense. But then he also talked about how the most important and impactful position on defense is a defensive tackle that can get after the quarterback. And Kenneth Grant, right now, he's not really a guy that gets after quarterbacks. That's not his specialty. But he's an athletic freak who projects that way. They can't block him one-on-one. He's 330 pounds. If you put one guy on him, he's going to walk that guy right back into the quarterback every time. So he pretty much demands a double team. Phillips, he's kind of like a Warren Sapp type player. That's why this vote's got to be interesting to me, guys. 45 seconds left, and it's 51% to 49. This one's close. I might put an extra minute on this one. This is big. The last spot in the Final Four as well. Already, we have 3 of the Final Four set, guys. Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty. And we're down to Kenneth Grant and Tyler Warren in a battle here. Kenneth Grant, Tyler Warren. This is tough. 15 seconds. 15 seconds. I'll give you guys like an extra 10 seconds just because of chat delay. But my timer's down to 5. All right, we'll pause that. Yeah. We'll give it another second. Ooh, 52%. I think that's it. Tyler Warren with the victory. Dun, dun, dun. I didn't see it. I thought that was gonna be a Kenneth Grant victory. I got to be honest. As much as I agree with the selection, I don't know who I would have picked there. I got to be honest. That's a tough one. I don't even know which one I would have picked. That's a tough one. I think Tyler Warren is a little bit higher on most people's draft boards, and some people even see Kenneth Grant potentially fall into round 2. I've seen it on some of the new draft boards, but there it is, guys. We're in the Final Four now. This is the Final Four. 2 offensive players, 2 trench players. This is it, guys. Right now, the first battle is going to be coming up on the left. It's it's Mason Graham against Will Campbell. Final Four here. So we're going defensive tackle, Mason Graham, left tackle / guard, Will Campbell. This is the battle. We'll do a little bit over 3 minutes here. Let me go ahead and put this one up. Poll starts now, guys. It's up. Mason Graham, Will Campbell. Put your votes in. Don't just type it. Make sure you put it in the chat. Final Four. You see it up top, though. We're in the Final Four. Mason Graham, Will Campbell. Chat, you guys decision it. It's your decision. If you want to convince other people, talk it in the chat. I see people saying Will Campbell. I see a Will Cam. I see a Graham. I see another Will Cam. I see a Graham, no question. But do you guys want my opinion on this? Does anyone? I mean, this one's a no-brainer for me. But I'm not trying to influence you guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. But I do think this one's a no-brainer for me. I understand the process, sports from the trenches. I get it. He says, convince me, Swift. Look, I think Mason Graham's the pick. To me, he's a blue chipper. If Mason Graham is on the board, both of these guys could potentially go top 5, and neither one of them fall. But the more and more times I've played this draft out in my head, one of these guys have a chance of falling to us. If Mason Graham is that guy, he is a 100% no-brainer to me. I think he's a blue chip talent. I think he could play anywhere on the defensive line. I just think he's an absolute stud. Will Campbell, I love, but he only can play guard. I think he could also play center. Another thing, let me convince you guys the other way. If people think, you know what, they're down on Will Campbell because he can't play left tackle. What if he could play left tackle, or he could also be an all-pro center? So there's a lot to go with there. He is a talented player that's going to be really good on the offensive line. The only question is, can he play tackle? That's really the question right now. We'll go. Oh, this looks like a runaway though. We have Drew Dahlman, yes, for 3 years at least. Mason by arm length. Hey, Mason's got short arms too. We will say, do I have the Mason Grant? Do I have his arm length on here? I don't think I have his arm length on here. Let me Google it real quick. But he's a defensive tackle. This is what people don't get. When you're on the interior, arm length doesn't matter as much. That's why they have Will Campbell. Will Campbell has never played center. He played only left tackle. Yeah, Graham's arms are the same size as Will Campbell's. They actually both have short arms. I do think Mason Graham could play DE. I don't know if I'd want him full time as a defensive end, but can he move out there and play defensive end? Yes. He's built like the Kool-Aid guy. J2K, man, we got to talk soon, man. I want to hear your thoughts on Mason Graham. You seem to not like him. I'm a huge fan. I get it. I do think one thing that people kind of misunderstand, I think having Kenneth Grant and him on that same defensive line was just incredibly hard to stop. I mean, it's kind of impossible to stop. When you have those two guys playing next to each other, like, what do you do there? This is a runaway, though. Looks like Mason Graham is going to the finals. That's what it looks like. Mason Graham to the finals. Let me go ahead and put him on here. Mason Graham in the championship. Who is he going to battle? All right, we're ending this one. We're calling it 78% Mason Graham. Yeah, that's another reason. Another great point there by Keds. He says he likes Will Campbell because eventually Joe Thuney is going to hang it up. Great point, because you want a guy who can come in and step in for Joe Thuney and not be a huge letdown. But do you have to take that guy at pick 10, or can we find a guy like that in round 2? Maybe if Tyler Booker falls to round 2, or a guy I love, Donovan Jackson, or even if you took a Wyatt Milam in round 3, a guy who, think about Wyatt Milam real quick. Before we get into this final vote, think about Wyatt Milam. He played left tackle at West Virginia, right? Never allowed a single sack, but he's moving inside to guard in the NFL. He's going to need a year or two to transition. Let him learn behind Joe Thuney, and then, then you have another guy. All right, here's a final. This is the next to last vote, guys. This is the next to last battle. Final 4 battle here. We have running back Ashton Jeanty taking on tight end Tyler Warren. A battle of the weapons. Voting starts now. 3 minutes on the board. The 2 most exciting offensive weapons in the draft. And now, do you want the dynamic chess piece who can play in the slot, who can play at fullback, who can be a wildcat quarterback and take some hits off of Caleb Williams and be your tight end? Or do you want the guy you can just hand the ball off to, be a 3-down weapon and a workhorse on this offense? We know what workhorse – this is Chicago, guys. This is a cold weather city. We need to run the ball in November and December and January. It's cold in Chicago. It's snowing. It's windy. So we know what good running backs do here as well. There's a lot of points to this, and I'm a big fan of both these players. But vote it out, guys. I want to just step back and the popcorn on this one. See who chat's going with. It's close, but Jeanty's up right now, 59-41. New Harper at a good point. He says tight end isn't worth a top 10 pick. If you look back to last year, would Brock Bowers, should he have been a top 10 pick? I think he should have been. NFL's changing, but are running backs worth top 10 pick? It's position versatility is always a question. To me, it's not about the position. It's about the player. Where are they at on your draft board? Where are they at on your big board as far as players? If you have Tyler Warren as the 4th best player in the draft and you can get him at 10, okay. Now, if you have Warren as the 12th best player, then no way you take him at 10. But same with Jeanty. If you have Jeanty, a lot of people have Jeanty as the 2nd or 3rd best player on the board. Most people have him at least 4th or 5th. Jeanty's a top 5 guy on most people's board. The reason why Jeanty could fall to us is because he's a running back. Same with Tyler Warren. If he wasn't a tight end, he'd probably be a top 5 pick. So it's an interesting conversation to have because both of these guys are supremely talented. I think both of them bring a lot to the offense, but I think in a vacuum, I'm going with Ashton Jeanty over Tyler Warren, but I wouldn't mind adding either one of these players. But this is going to set up a really dynamic and a really fun finale. I actually didn't see this coming. I thought it could happen, but it's looking like it. Yeah, Ashton Jeanty's closing it out. With 20 seconds left, Ashton Jeanty has a 12% lead. Let me update my graphic. We're going to go ahead and show you guys the new graphic because it's going to be the final. It's going to be the finale here, guys. Boop, boop. Image. This is it. It's going to be Mason Graham winning the left bracket. Ashton Jeanty winning the right bracket. Oh, yeah. You're right, mister. 22%. Love it. Sorry, kids. Sorry, my bad, bro. I thought this would be fun. I might do another one next week, depending on what people think, or one right before the draft. But I thought, you know what? Let's see what the fans are thinking. Let's see what they want. I'm sorry. Knowledge, Kenneth Grant lost to Tyler Warren in a close battle. It was 52 to 48%. You see it on the right side of your screen. Kenneth Grant made it to round 2. He lost barely to Tyler Warren. We're now in the final here, guys. I'm ending this poll, and we're getting ready to start the poll for the final vote. This is going to be the final one here. This is the championship. Champion vote here. All right, here we go. It's going to be defensive tackle Mason Graham coming from the left bracket. It's going to be running back Ashton Jeanty coming from the right bracket. Voting starts now. We're gonna do 5 minutes for this one. We'll give you a full 5. We'll see what everybody thinks. It's Graham versus Jeanty. It's the trenches versus the running back. So you got the defensive tackle to get after quarterbacks and collapse the pocket, or you got the running back to help our offensive line and take pressure off of our franchise quarterback. I think that's an underrated point here that people have to take into account. Ashton Jeanty would really help Caleb Williams. Mason Graham would really help the defense, might help us win more games. Who's going to be an impact player quicker, though? Who's going to get the ball more? Ashton Jeanty. This is tough, man. This would be a tough decision. Honestly, if it came down to this, I would probably take Mason Graham, but it's close. This is actually my dream scenario. One of these two players fall to the Bears at pick 10, and I would be incredibly happy. One of these two guys, please fall to us. I don't want to influence the decision, though, because I love Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty's probably my personal favorite player in this draft. I've watched him in college for 3 years now. He's carried a bad offense. He's a stud player. He's special prospect. But Mason Graham, blue chip talent on that defensive line. Which one has... I think Ashton Jeanty has a higher chance of falling to us, but both of these guys could be gone in the first 5-6 picks. So it's tough. One of these guys falling to us, if they both fell to us, Ryan Poles would... Remember Ryan Poles' face last year when when the Falcons picked Michael Penix? He was like, how surprised he was. It would be just like that this year if Ashton Jeanty and Mason Graham somehow both fell to us this far. It'd be a fun situation to be in. But this is really fun. I mean, it's definitely possible, guys. There's always surprises in the draft. And here's the thing with both of these players. This is why I want you to think about both of these positions, running back and defensive tackle. Let me see if I have the numbers up. I've actually been doing research on it recently. The percent that get picked in the first round, it's very low for both these positions. Like, neither of these positions get picked high in the first round very often at all. As far as going in the top 10, defensive tackles rarely go in the top 10. Running backs also rarely go in the top 10, but I think running backs actually a little bit higher. I don't know if I have. Oh, I actually do. Is this it? No, that's bust percentage. I do have it. First round picks by position. I'm gonna upload this graphic and show it to you guys real quick. So this is like first round picks by position in the NFL draft, and where they get picked at. This is it's. I don't even know if I'm doing. Sometimes I just do these deep dives and I don't even make videos for it. But this is the last 10 years, right? I have a bunch of these. Don't judge me. But this is the number of first round picks, right? On the left side is the number of first round picks at each position. On the right side is the number of top 10 picks. And if you look at defensive tackle and running back, in the last 10 years, there's only been 6 defensive tackles and 6 running backs to go in the top 10. So it's very, very rare. There's never been a center in the last 10 years to go top 10. There's only been 1 safety. There's only been 2 tight ends. There's only been 2 guards. So when you think about the draft, right, and you look at this, look at the positions that go top 10, right? Wide receiver, defensive end, offensive tackle, cornerback, quarterback. So it's not hard to think that a couple of those teams in the top 10 might reach, and not even really reach, but they might take a cornerback over a running back, right? They might take Will Johnson because they prefer a cornerback because of the position value, or offensive tackle. Someone might grab Josh Simmons or Kelvin Banks higher than people see it going. Same with wide receiver. Tep McMillan and Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, those guys could go a little bit higher than normal. And then we got all those defensive ends. If you look other than quarterback, the position taken most in the top 10 are pass rushers. And this year is so stacked at pass rusher. Ooh, vote is running out. I'll give you guys, I don't know how close it is, but I'll give you guys a couple more seconds on it while I keep talking. But basically, defensive ends go in the top 10 all the time. Running backs and defensive tackles, which are our 2 picks here for this vote, they rarely go in the top 10. So the fact that 2 of this year's blue chip talents, or actually 3 of them when you think about it, right? Let me flash it back up there again, because think about Tyler Warren as well. Only 2 tight ends have gone in the top 10. Only 2. And this is over the last 10 years, guys. Oh, yeah, I have that on the screen. Okay. Over the last 10 years, these are the first round picks. So when you think about it, defensive tackle and running back and tight end, they don't go in the top 10 very often. So the Bears setting at pick 10, even though Tyler Warren, Mason Graham, and Ashton Jeanty are viewed as 3 of the best prospects in this draft, and almost everyone has them ranked above the 10th spot on their board, that gives you a reason why those guys could fall to us at 10. At least one of those 3 will be there. I will almost guarantee that. At least one of the 3. The 2 guys we have in our championship here, Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty, or Tyler Warren. And I think trade down, you know what would have been cool? If I would have included trade down on the list. But I think trade down would have won, Ken. That would have won. Everyone would have voted trade down. That would have been a blowout. Everyone would have voted trade down over any player. It looks like Mason Graham is going to be the champion. It's pretty close, though, 55 to 45. Only a 10% swing there. Only about 10 votes off. But Mason Graham over Ashton Jeanty for the championship. This is fun, guys. I thought this was a fun time. If you guys want to do something like this again, let me know. I can work out and do another one. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. We had March Madness this weekend. I don't know if anyone watches college basketball or not. I'll be honest. I used to be a huge fan of college basketball and watch all year. This year, I didn't watch a single game until the tournament. And I still made a bracket, though, but it's kind of fun. I think this was I think this is fun. Mason Graham is going to be our champion. Should I put a Mason Graham big head on the board somewhere? Hold on. Let me see. Mason Graham is going to win. Do I put him on here? Mason Graham's face. Yeah, I'm just gonna put him right up top. I'm making a new. I'm putting a new graphic up here since we have a winner. Hold on one second. New graphic coming. We have a winner. I'll talk about it for just a second. Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham's a perfect prospect, and if we somehow have a chance to get him, I'd be super happy with it. Wait, where's it at? There it is. There it is, guys. Mason Graham. Look at him up top. He is the winner. He is the champion. I'm sorry, Ashton Jeanty, but we went trenches, baby. We went with the trenches. I knew the Swift Sports people wouldn't let me down. Look, you guys prefer the trenches just like I do. And as much as I love Ashton Jeanty, trenches win. Trenches win. Mason Graham to the Bears. Ryan Poles, I hope you're watching. Other teams in the NFL, get the note. Don't take Mason Graham. Let him fall to pick 10. That's where he needs to go. That's all there is to it. I remember, I'll tell you guys a story. Do you guys remember the year Aaron Donald was coming out? Aaron Donald was easily, that's too big. Aaron Donald was easily one of my favorite players in the draft. I wanted Aaron Donald so bad. But we picked 14th. And Aaron Donald was supposed to go in the top 5. I had Aaron Donald as like my second or third highest rated player on the entire board. And he fell all the way to one pick before us, all the way to 13. You guys look at Aaron Donald now and you see him as a Pro Bowler, right? But Aaron Donald at Pittsburgh, he was a blue chip prospect just like Mason Graham. He was actually a better prospect than Mason Graham. And he still didn't go in the top 10. Because people, I do think teams are coming around on it a little bit with defensive tackle. But when you think that the same amount of defensive tackles and running backs have got drafted in the top 10, I have to think there's a chance that Mason Graham could fall to us. Because you have to also think about it. One other point I'll make here, guys. When teams are picking in the first round, right? Say you're the Jags and you're picking at pick 5 or whatever. You're one of those teams in the top 10 and Mason Graham's on the board. But you value those other positions higher. And you might think to yourself, well, I love Mason Graham here, but what if I can get Kenneth Grant or Tyleik Williams in round 2? And then I can still take a stud cornerback or a left tackle prospect in the first round. And a couple of those teams could think that, and Mason Graham does have a legit chance to fall to us. I think it's definitely a possibility, guys. I wouldn't overlook it. And this was so much fun. I thought this was fun. I thought it would be a fun time. Mason Graham is the winner. Let me put the board back up so you guys can see it again. Mason Graham up top. He's the champion. He's a Chicago Bears pick at 10. I love Tyleik Williams. I'll say that. But I appreciate you guys. Any final thoughts? I think that's it. Maybe we'll do this again next week. You guys let me know in the comments what you think, especially anybody who's watching this after it's live and didn't get to partake in it. Maybe if you want me to do it again because you guys, more people want to have a chance or whatever, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments, and we'll do another one of these. I appreciate you guys, and I'm out of here. Bear down.